the pornography point, like I think you and I both know a lot of men from various different friend circles that we've been a part of, where pornography is like really changed. And I'm not even talking just like UK friends. I met people in the US. I met people all over the world.
Yeah.
Where pornography has really like messed with them and
Yeah.
their capacity to be in a normal relationship.
Yeah. And how so?
So I know, for example, one guy I met on my travels, and I actually found this like, once I realized it to be painfully obvious in retrospect. Um, the cuckold fetish is like a huge thing,
Yeah.
and it's like growing.
Okay.
And I was thinking, I was like, why is this like growing? Like the idea of like cuckolding being like so counter to like your evolutionary imperative, right? Like
Right.
you want to pass your genes on.
Yeah.
So to get into a mindset where you're excited by the fact you're not passing your genes on,
Yeah.
it's like evolutionarily so backwards.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's kind of hard to almost get your head around.
Yeah.
And I realized that because pornography is incredibly like inherently voyeuristic, you are always you're never the subject of it.
Yeah.
It's always like a distal thing. Like
Yeah.
you are over here watching that thing over there
Yeah.
through a screen.
Mm-hmm.
It's obviously kind of inevitable
Mm.
that for some set of people who are highly kind of like into it, they will develop that fetish in a way, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's so damaging. Like, people who like just cannot end up having normal relationships because their view of sex has been so twisted. And this is just one way in which pornography can twist your sense. And I think, in one way I really empathize with like boys and men on this, because like pornography is clearly an addictive issue that men struggle with more, right? Like because of our biological wiring, our need for like kind of the drive for like sex and so on from a young age drives like young boys to these free open websites, which as we're increasingly discovering are like insanely corrupt,
Yeah.
like insanely corrupt. There's a whole like kind of thing coming out about like um, the conglomerates that own the majority of the pornography websites.
Mm.
Um, and then from like 11, 12, I literally remember at school, people 11, 12, like showing pornography. Like I'm
Yeah.
sure you had the same thing.
Yeah.
iPod Touch back in the day,
Yeah.
on like someone's iPod Touch. It's before iPhones even. Well, they were out, but like
Yeah.
nobody had them. Um, and like, you're sitting there thinking like, okay, like 11, 12 years old, his unlimited access to like insanely hardcore pornography, that's got to derange you in some way.
Yeah.
I cannot, and I'm a libertarian. I think people who want to watch pornography
Yeah.
should be able to do so.
Yeah.
But again, it's like, how much unfettered access do you allow to a highly addictive substance? Like we make
Yeah.
cocaine illegal. We have a sugar tax in the UK.
Mm.
I'm not necessarily saying I know a good way to do this. I think
Yeah.
ultimately you have to do this at the cultural level,
Yeah.
which is something I'll come on to.
Yeah.
But I think to just drop it on a culture and say, good
Yeah.
luck adapting to this,
Yeah.
I think is really a tough point.
Jordan Peterson makes a very funny, I guess, quip about this, where he says, a 12-year-old boy can go online and see hundreds and hundreds of the most beautiful women from all over the world at his fingertips, which is way more than the the most dominant, powerful king in the world that 150 years ago.
Yeah, like the Emperor of Rome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just it's crazy the amount of access to, um, and I guess your point that I kind of want to double click on, which is that point around what that does to the brain, having that much access. It's kind of, and also I want to explore more how fetishes actually become fetishes, because
yeah,
the the cuckold fetish, that, like, let's just say like any given person might have, didn't they didn't start with, you know having that fetish. They gradually, um, became attracted to that. So what is that journey from when you're seeing porn for the first time to when you've developed a cuckold fetish?
Yeah.
Like, what is that journey that like someone must go through? For me, I think that it's basically starts from consuming so much porn that you are basically no longer turned on by like the typical stimuli that you might see in a any given porn video. So then you look for something to like stimulate your interest, something novel, because ultimately that's what's going to trigger your dopamine receptors. And then when that little thing that you're watching just becomes slightly um, that absurd thing that you're watching becomes slightly um, part of your day to day, then you're like, okay, well, what else can I watch? And then what else? And then slowly,
It's like your coffee getting stronger every
yeah.
morning.
But then, but what is, but you've got so many avenues to go down, I guess, with the fetish, right?